Hey, y'all. Picture this. I'm standing in my kitchen, coffee brewing, sun just creeping over the horizon, when I hear this god-awful roar of chainsaws tearing through the quiet morning. I look out the window, and there's Linda Carver, our HOA dictator, decked out in a white blazer that probably cost more than my truck, slicing through my wheat fields like she's auditioning for a horror flick. She's not just cutting crops, hacking up my irrigation pipes, years of sweat and calluses, and then, get this, she climbs onto my dad's old 1950s Massey Ferguson tractor, grabs a sledgehammer, and starts smashing it like she's got a personal vendetta against steel. I'm frozen, watching $300,000 worth of my Harvest Me Kids future go up in flames when she tosses a flare into the diesel-soaked field, smirking, phone in one hand, sipping from a mug that says HOA royalty. What would you do if someone burned your life's work to the ground for cookie-cutter condos? I'm Tom Wheeler, born and raised on this 1,000-acre farm in rural Kansas. Third generation to work this dirt. My grandpa staked this land in 1925, back when a promise was worth more than a contract. After my wife, Ellie, lost her fight with leukemia 3 years ago, this farm became my anchor. Smell of fresh soil, the hum of sprinklers, the way dawn lights up golden wheat like it's glowing from the inside. It's not just a job, it's who we are. My daughter, Claire, she's studying agribusiness at K-State, wants to keep this place alive. My son, Nate, he's 16, already better with a combine than I was at 20. This land's our blood, our story, carved into Kansas prairie. Then the outsiders came. Meadowview Estates, a fancy new development, popped up on our eastern fence line rows of identical condos for city folks escaping their own messes. Most of them kept to themselves, which was fine by me, but Linda Carver? She rolled in from San Diego with a fat divorce settlement, a silver BMW she treated like a holy relic, and an attitude that screamed she owned the world. Within months, she clawed her way to HOA president, promising to civilize our rural corner to boost property values. First came the certified Letter Me Farms. Offensive odors were apparently violating her neighbors' right to breathe lavender-scented air. She demanded I stop using fertilizer, like I'm running a perfume factory instead of growing the wheat that feeds half the country. Mr. Wheeler, she said over the phone, her voice all syrupy venom, your little farm is dragging down our community's aesthetic. We're curating elegance here. Elegance? Lady, this was farmland before your condos were a blueprint. Here's the kicker: some paperwork mix-up years ago accidentally lumped my land into their HOA boundaries. My dad signed something without reading the fine print, and now I'm stuck in Linda's suburban nightmare. My lawyer, Mike, broke it down over greasy eggs at Rosie's Diner. Tom, you're legally bound to their rules unless we can prove fraud. Fraud? Oh, we'd find it, but not before Linda turned up the heat. She started showing up with a measuring tape and a photographer, documenting my wheat's height like it was a federal crime. 7 feet, 3 inches, she'd announce, waving her yellow stick like a scepter. Community standards cap vegetation at 6 feet to preserve patio views. I just stared. Linda, that's not how wheat works. She handed me another letter, fake seals and all, threatening $800 daily fines. Then one night, I caught her husband, Greg, skulking through my barley field at midnight with surveying gear. When I called him out, he mumbled about nighttime compliance checks and bolted to their BMW like a scared rabbit. Our collie, Scout, started barking at silver BMWs like it was his life's mission. Kids in town even made a game out of it, timing his alerts, calling it the Linda alarm. Scout's accuracy? 97%, better than the local weatherman. But Linda wasn't just a control freak, she was drowning in debt. $2 million owed to California creditors, her divorce money long gone. My farm was her golden ticket to promise developers a fat payday if she could force me to sell. That's when things got ugly. One Tuesday, she rolled up with a clipboard and a smug grin, declaring my irrigation system non-compliant. Then, at 4 a.m., my cameras caught her BMW tearing through my barley, flattening $2,500 worth of crops. The mud-caked tires left a trail right to her driveway. "Compliance measurements," she said when I confronted her, power washing her car in $1,000 heels. "Maybe try shorter crops, Tom." She smirked, and I swear, I felt my blood boil hotter than a Kansas summer. I dug into Ellie's old research. Felesh'd been studying land law before she got sick and found gold. Kansas's Right to Farm Act, protecting farms like mine from suburban bullies. I filed a complaint with the county, set up more cameras, and braced for war. Linda doubled down, pushing an emergency HOA vote to ban all farm equipment tractors, combines, the works right before harvest. Without my machines, $300,000 in wheat would rot. At the meeting, she stood at her podium, perfume choking the room, preaching about noise pollution, while her cronies nodded like trained seals. But then Rosie, from the diner, stood up, clutching a folder. "Linda owes $2 million in California," she said, voice steady as steel. "She's not protecting property values, forcing Tom out to pay her debts." The room went dead silent. Linda's face turned the color of her blazer, and her resolution crashed when 2 board members bailed. That's when I found my ace. Ellie's notes mentioned my grandpa's 1925 water rights to Cottonwood Creek, the same creek feeding Meadowview sprinklers, pools, everything. In Kansas, first in time, first in right, means my claim trumps theirs. I could shut off their water legally, no questions asked. My attorney, Rachel, confirmed it. "Tom, you could dry up their whole development tomorrow." I held off, not wanting to punish the decent folks who'd moved in, but Linda wasn't done. She sabotaged my irrigation at 3 a.m., slicing hoses, smashing sprinklers, $15,000 in damage. My cameras caught a figure in her signature jacket, and the community rallied. Neighbors donated parts, volunteers fixed pipes, and a GoFundMe hit $40,000 overnight. My fight went viral. Farmers from 5 states sent messages about their own HOA horror stories. The real bombshell came in Ellie's files. Proof Linda had forged HOA boundary maps, whiting out my farm's exclusion from their jurisdiction. Her signature was on the fake papers, mailed to the county. Federal mail fraud, a felony. Rachel laid it out. "Tom, she's running a Ponzi scheme, banking on your land to scam investors." Linda had borrowed $500,000, promising 200% returns by flipping my farm for condos. Without my land, she was toast bankruptcy, maybe prison. Monday's town council meeting was my Alamo. The courthouse was packed, news crews buzzing, federal agents in the front row like they were waiting for a show. Linda strutted in, pink suit screaming money, her lawyer looking like he billed by the minute. Mike laid out the forged documents side by side, the fraud so obvious even a toddler could see it. Gasps rippled through the crowd. Linda shot up, screaming, "These hick farmers are sabotaging progress." But Rachel dropped the hammer. "Mrs. Carver is under FBI investigation for fraud, bribery, and racketeering. She tried bribing the county prosecutor with $50,000. The room exploded. FBI agent Carter stood, calm as a summer breeze, and read Linda her rights. "You can't do this," she shrieked. "I'm the victim," as cuffs clicked on her wrists. The crowd cheered like we'd won the Super Bowl. The fallout was swift. The HOA dissolved, Meadowview's construction halted, and Linda's investors bailed. Her condos lost half their value when I reminded everyone my water rights control their pipes. That next morning, I walked to Grandpa's old dam, turned a rusted wheel, and let Cottonwood Creek loose. 10 million gallons roared down, turning their construction site into a muddy swamp. A $3 million excavator sank like a stone, and I sipped my coffee, watching herons move in by sundown. Nature reclaimed that land faster than you can say justice. 6 months later, our Wheeler Farm Festival drew 7,000 folks, boosting local businesses like never before. Ellie Scholarship Fund, seeded with $200,000 from Scouts viral merch, sent a kid named Anna to study sustainable farming. Linda got 12 years in federal prison, $3 million in fines. Her BMW sold at auction. I bought her condo for pennies, tore it down, and planted sunflowers that bloom every July like a big OL middle finger to her dreams. Claire's now a lawyer fighting for farmers. Nate's experimenting with eco-friendly crops. And I married Rosie last fall in a wheat field wedding, Scout carrying the rings. We protected 500 acres with a conservation easement, ensuring this land stays a farm forever. Linda thought she could bully us out, but she forgot one thing. You don't mess with folks who feed the country. What would you do if someone tried to steal your legacy? Drop your stories below. Your fight might inspire someone else to stand their ground. Hit that subscribe button, and let's keep these David and Goliath tales alive.